in case. So anyways, thank you everybody for being here. And so I just learned about like how to get my computer to do a live broadcast. So I just thought I would start and talk about what's the latest with me. So I don't know if anybody else has been having to use local resources. It's 2018. So, in a couple of years, I'm sure this is going to be dated. But maybe things are going to get even more kind of under the control of the government. And what I'm talking about is when we're going to use local resources, whether they're a government resource or maybe volunteer kind of a thing. It seems like volunteer organizations are a little bit more, I mean, because they're not bureaucracy and deadened by that whole process, they're kind of more humane, really. And so, what I wanted to talk about is how demoralizing and dehumanizing it is to try to get access to legitimate resources that you qualify for when you're going through the government. and and one of the things that I'm finding really demoralizing and challenging is this double standard where you're supposed to jump through hoops, lickety split, right when they say, and then the government drops the ball and loses the records that you spent all this time getting, or they go back on an agreement, and they try to put the blame on you. So that's what I have been. That's what I would like to talk about is this double standard and gaslighting, and when you're solo, you're single, with you when you don't have money and you don't have advocates, you end up. This is where you end up, like accessing government resources. And if you are not a drug addict or a single mother, like there's or a serious alcoholic or whatever, there's like resources that kind of focus on the these drastic dramatic cases. And then there's of us who have chronic Lyme disease, mold exposure, multiple chemical sensitivity, Hashimoto's, or hyperthyroidism, and the whole gamut, like the mast cell activation syndrome, or Epstein-Barr, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. So there's these kind of boring mystery diseases that everybody thinks is a lie, and but this is a big debilitated group that that where the casualty is economic and it's relational, like social family stuff deteriorates. It can for some folks. And so when somebody is a responsible person, they're not trying to burden other people, whether it's family or friends or whatever. And so what do? We look to what is within our reach economically. So, government stuff or local resources, and that requires a whole bunch of jumping through hoops. And so, and then after you jump through the hoops, what I am finding is that this kind of like sick and twisted evil system that where the clients are the prey, because the government wouldn't be there if it wasn't for our taxes paying for them. And yet, like, these government workers despise the clients, despise the people. And so there's like this weird classism kind of thing, because they hate that there's these needy people, these financially needy people who just didn't do better, like didn't do whatever it is to make it so they don't have to access resources. So even though um, like clients are necessary for these people to have jobs, clients are hated and despised and treated poorly, and more than just poorly, inhumanely. And there's like no recourse. The clients can complain, but so the entry level people, the clients complain about the entry level people. The bosses don't care because these entry level people have gone through all this training. So there's, I mean, what do? Go up, the whole ladder. So that's like currently my dilemma is, and so what I am trying to figure out, is because like um I've done everything I can to take care of myself, to be responsible, to heal myself within my limitations. And I have reached the limits of my capacity and the limits of other people's capacity. Uh, and so I just try to be like, okay, so what's beyond me and what's beyond my limits? It's my spirituality, it's God. And so I'm just like, okay, God, here we go. Help me out here. Or if you're not going to help me out, help me cope with this. And if you're not going to help me cope with this, help me cope with the not coping. So that's my latest thing that I'm kind of trying to figure out. And so actually, a lot of alternative health stuff, like people dealing with Lyme on Facebook or mold on Facebook or the mast cell activation syndrome or orthostatic hypotension or Hashimoto's. Like, so I'm on all these different Facebook groups, and that has really helped me because it's like I really do get to meet other people with multiple chemical sensitivity, or the mast cell activation syndrome or the orthostatic hypotension. And it's just great to have like, uh, 100 people over the course of a week, interacting with them, seeing their posts or even getting responses from them. And so I just putting this video out to see what other people's solutions are when uh, you're going into something with integrity and it's the government, let's say, or it's your doctor or insurance or dentist or whatever agent of the public good. And they lie to you. They don't do their job. They drop the ball for like a month, let's say, and then they put the blame on you. And let's say they do this a lot. And so I guess like, I know the option is, okay, file a complaint and then go through that whole bureaucratic process that is built to deflate you. And you already have like limited energy, limited willpower, limited ability to concentrate. At least that's for me. So, what are your guys' solution? So, is it cut your losses? And then if that's the case, what do you do about resources? Because for me, I'm trying to get out of a hole, and and so I sort of feel like I need resources. I need a platform or a springboard to jump from to someplace else. And so yeah, so I guess like I probably could use meditating more on it, and I'd really be interested in hearing what you guys have to say. So if you found any interesting comments here or brainstorming, or if you would like to offer your experience and what's worked for you, please do share. And feel free to subscribe and like this. And I am glad you're out there. Sending all the best. Bye.